Lilli has a daydream of running wild and free, raging in the wind.
First question is, how are you related to Lilli?
I'm Lilli's aunt.
What was your reaction when you first heard that Lilli had cancer?
At first, I was hopeful because all of the research shows that 4 out of 5 children survive childhood leukemia. But when we realized that hers was a diagnosis of infant leukemia, the percentages changed from an 80% survival rate to a 20% survival rate. And so then we just started looking for a cure anywhere we could find it.
Like, how did you guys prepare, if she didn't make it, how did you guys prepare?
I don't know that you can prepare for somebody not surviving it. I think we believed up until the day that she died that she would live. We had faith that everybody's prayers and all the positive energy that was coming our way would somehow manifest into survival for her. Between 2 bone marrow transplants and a 65-day stay in the PICU, and her winning those battles, we truly believe that she would beat it.
When you did the St. Baldrick's, were you honored that you got to do it? Were you happy that you got to be able to raise money for the Cancer Society?
Absolutely. St. Baldrick's is the highest organization that raises money for childhood cancer. All the money that they raise is strictly for childhood cancer, and they're only beaten by the federal government. So as far as private charities go, St. Baldrick's does more for childhood cancer research than any other organization, including St. Jude's. When I was informed that the Oregon State University Women's Choir was the one that was organizing the event and that there were going to be 28 women shaving, I jumped on board and kind of hijacked their event because I was excited that there were going to be 28 other women going bald, because quite honestly, when a man shaves his head for St. Baldrick's, it's a great thing, but when women do it, it's kind of a shock factor, and it becomes this conversational piece that you get to have with everybody. So when I came home and I was bald and would run into family or friends that didn't know why I had done it, it was this conversation that would begin with this dialogue of, how underfunded childhood cancer is, and how important it is to continue to raise money for a cure. Childhood research across the board, not just for cancer, but for all childhood diseases, is very underfunded because the government limits what you can do as far as testing on children. So there aren't as many guinea pigs as there are for adults.
Okay, I also learned that a Buster band did a song for Lilli, and Lilli became friends with everyone in the band. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was actually, the band is Yonder Mountain String Band. The story behind them kind of getting involved was that my sister and her husband were part of their fan base. And she had sent out this letter on one of their message boards asking everybody to keep Lilli in their thoughts. And one of the band members, the mandolin player and kind of frontman for the band, Jeff Austin, took Lilli kind of under his wing. His mom saw that post, and she called him and said, "You have got to do things for this child. They need you." And like any good son, he listened to his mom, and he did, and he wrote a song that was first played with him and Brendan Bayless in a kind of a side gig that Jeff does called 30 dB, and they wrote this song called "Lilli Has a Daydream," and she loved that song. She would sing every word of that song, and when you would say, "Who's singing that song?" she would say, "My Jeff is singing that song." And when I finally got to witness her and Jeff together, It was an incredible experience that cannot really be duplicated. They had a true kinship that showed just by the way they looked at each other. He did amazing things for her. She had spent this long stint in the PICU, and they were playing at a venue near her hometown shortly after she had been discharged. And he got wind that she was out of the hospital and that my sister and Aaron were going to try to bring her to the show, but they were really concerned because they didn't want her to be in the main audience, just because her immune system was compromised. And so he set up this dressing room with her with a big star on it, and it said Lilli. And inside the dressing room was balloons and a feather boa that left pink feathers trailing everywhere, and sunglasses that looked like flamingos. And all of their fans that had been at the show the night before, he had made an announcement that she was going to be there, and everybody brought gifts for her. And things as, benign as Pez dispensers all the way up to costumes. And she just was the center of attention and got to really enjoy herself. I don't know that she was ever happier than when she was listening to them or at one of their shows.
My final question is, what would you tell other people about Lilli or anyone with cancer? What kind of advice would you give to a parent that their child found out that, they had cancer?
The one thing that Lilli taught me that I don't know that anybody else in my life has been able to is to really enjoy today. No matter what's going on, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, try to find joy in every moment that you can. The other thing that I would tell them is to put all their feelers out and get help from every resource available. The Children's Cancer Association, the Candlelighters, Make-A-Wish, St. Baldrick's, Chelsea's Closet, Tucker's Toy Box. Most of these organizations were founded by parents of children that were lost to cancer. The Austin Hatcher Foundation locally here in Chattanooga is a great resource. And the other thing that I would say is, be prepared for those long hospital stays. 30 days without leaving a hospital room is tough. It's hard on the family. It's hard on the husband and wife. It's hard on the relatives that come give support. So let them come in and babysit so you could go have dinner like a normal family. Take every chance you get to be able to decompress and get away from the stress of the situation, because there's nothing harder than having a child that's diagnosed with any kind of terminal illness.
All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. 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 Love is all you need.